Alrighty, so this video is for anyone that currently occupies some sort of sales position. Maybe you sell something on the phone, or maybe you're selling something door to door and you want to transition into something that is number one, more high ticket, so you can make more, and number two, into something that is actually remote. Now, before we actually dive into things, you're probably wondering, who the heck is this guy that's talking to me right now on the camera? So a little bit about me is I've sold over $3 million in consulting product in the past year and a half alone. And in a single year, I made over $300,000 in pure commissions. Here's some screenshots that prove my credibility. And with that being said, let's dive right into it. All right, guys. So for this one, I wanted to break down the key difference between traditional sales versus high ticket remote sales. So first of all, what does traditional sales even mean, right? So if you guys are watching this, you are in traditional sales if you are selling something and you get commission from it. Okay, this could be like you guys are in retail, even though your commissions are really low, right? Maybe you guys are selling insurance on the phone where commissions are a little bit better, or maybe you guys are selling something door to door where commissions are actually pretty decent, but it's just very tedious, right? So really any form of sales, if you guys are doing that, you are in traditional sales, even selling cars, right? And then high ticket remote sales is basically where you sell in a remote fashion, you sell on your computer, and you are selling a product or service. So I'm going to break down essentially what the key difference is between these two vehicles. Number one is no more capped commissions. Let's just cut to the chase, right? Most of you are in sales because you like money and you want to make a lot of it. That's why you are in sales and your peers aren't. Now, in traditional sales, a very common compensation plan is you'll get like a small base of anywhere between $2 to $4 grand a month, and then you'll get commissions. And from a bird's eye perspective, it creates the illusion of a high income earning potential, but guys, this could not be further from the truth. In 99.9% of cases where you are working in traditional sales, you will never touch 10K a month in your entire life. It just won't happen. And this is regardless of how good you are. You could literally be the best and you're not making 10 grand a month. Maybe you're earning close to it, but you're really not earning 10 grand a month. And the main reason behind that is because, again, the compensation plan will just never allow for you to touch money like that. And that sucks because no matter how good you get, you're not getting there, right? And what that basically means is you're doomed from the start. Whereas in remote sales, a very common commission is 10 grand a month. That is actually very, very common. The best closers can make anywhere between 20, 30, 40, even 50 grand a month. My best month in high ticket remote sales was 35 grand in a month cash collected. Most companies, the average OTE that you're going to see is going to be between 10 to 15 grand. And keep in mind that these people that are in remote sales aren't even necessarily better than you in sales. They're simply in a much better vehicle that's actually allowing for them to even earn that much commission. Now, this is an example of traditional sales, right? Look at this meme. When you decide to pick up the phone and make some cold calls, I'm ready to get hurt again. A problem in traditional sales is you are going to be doing end to end, right? So you're going to be doing a lot of cold calls, and you got to book in the prospect, and you got to close them. The sales cycles are so freaking long that closing the deals, a lot of them just get lost in your pipeline, right? And a lot of them, they just don't end up even in completion. And even when they do, again, your commission is just so small that it just makes the whole thing a massive chore. This is not going to happen to you in remote sales. The way that remote sales works is you are essentially known as an inbound closer. Now, what the heck is an inbound closer? Basically, what an inbound closer is somebody that already has calls booked onto their calendar by either the company or either an appointment setter that works within the company, okay? And so what that means is you hop on the call where the prospect has already done their homework because they get emailed a bunch of instructions to already learn about the company, and your job is to pitch the actual service, okay? And what this means is oftentimes you'll be getting tons and tons of one-call closes, okay? One-call closes are not a myth, guys. They exist. In fact, 90%, I'd say 95% of the closes that I did when I was a remote rep were one-call closes. Okay, so the sales cycle is dramatically shorter, and what this means is you will now have the energy and the time to actually focus on closing more deals, which will in turn increase your commissions. More freedom. Now, if you're working in remote sales, the amount of freedom that you have is insane compared to if you're working in any form of traditional sales. And the main reason behind that is because, number one, it's remote, right? So you're not having to go to an office, show up at a certain time. You literally can work from your bedroom. Right? I waited a while until I actually got myself an office just because I wanted to be more organized. So I even bought myself like my own personal office. But initially, I was literally just closing deals in my parents' house, in my bedroom, right? And I was earning over 10 grand a month doing that. Now, number two is you will be able to travel whenever you want if you actually enjoy doing that. Now, personally, I really like traveling. I just never had any money. And when I got into sales and I made a bag, I was like, okay, I want to travel around the world. And in the past year, I went to Belgium, I went to France, I went to Spain, went to New York City, and I was still working, right? I was still taking my sales calls. But what I was able to do is I was able to block out certain times inside of my calendar. And the company didn't really care because I was good at what I did. I was closing deals, I was making them money. And me blocking out my calendar, no big deal, right? Or if you guys want to still travel and still take a bunch of calls, which you can do, a lot of closers do that, you can still do that, right? So you can basically be like a digital nomad while earning a ton of money doing remote sales. Doesn't get better than that. Less work. Now, don't get me wrong, okay, remote sales is by no means like a walk in the park. It's obviously hard work, but you're not going to be pitching to time wasters, right? Or you're not going to be doing a ton of cold calls or really any cold calls. The problem in traditional sales is if you guys are selling something like insurance as an example, you're going to be doing a ton of cold calls. If you guys are doing door to door, you're obviously knocking on a ton of doors. And a common theme within these industries, like a common saying is, knock on more doors. It's just one phone call away from that deal. That's not the case in remote sales, because in remote sales, you're not talking to people that are wasting your time. You're talking to people that are pre-vetted, they have money, and your job is to do a discovery with them and then pitch them the service. And at the very end, you're handling some objections. That's literally what you're doing. So when it comes to the energy expenditure, it's significantly less than your counterpart in traditional sales. And with that being said, guys, that about summarizes this video. I've laid the pros, I've laid the cons. There weren't really that many cons in this video. Didn't really name any. And that's because, guys, there aren't really any cons of switching to remote sales if you are already doing some form of sales, right? If you're already doing some form of sales, obviously it shows that, you're good at it, you like sales. You might as well switch into something that's just going to provide you with so much more flexibility, and most importantly, something that's going to allow for you to actually make much more money than what you're currently already doing. If you're already currently doing sales and you're earning less than 10 grand a month, I don't know what you're doing, right? It's not fun, okay? That's all that I can say. So if you guys want to switch over to remote sales and just learn a little bit more about it, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down in the description below where you can go ahead and book in a call with myself. If you guys want to check out my Instagram, follow me on Instagram. You can shoot me a message over there, check out some of my content. You can see some of the case studies. You can even see an interview with Jacob, who's doing 20 grand a month on the YouTube channel. I'll leave a link of that down below as well. And with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.